Hello and good morning, Angela. How are you doing today?
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic. I'm very proud of you for releasing this book because you're releasing it during a time where it's become the unspoken way. People are burned out. They just don't want to talk about it. And you're giving those people the opportunity to grow daily.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
To put yourself in that moment, you had to have lived this path because, it's the activation of experience that, to me, I can feel it all over these pages.
Yes, it's absolutely true. I've been that person struggling with work, family, balance. I've been that person who set high expectations, often unreasonable goals for myself. And I was that person who also burnt out and experienced health, impacts, as a result of having been that person. So I have that lived experience. I know what it's like. And fortunately for me, too, now I know how to resolve that and to be more in balance. And that's how I developed the art of chilling out for women.
Has the definition of burned out changed? Because, people are in a very different place than where we were before the lockdown.
Well, I think stress has always been relative, and trauma is a relative experience. Mm-hmm. What stresses one person out or what traumatizes one person is unique to that person, isn't necessarily going to have that same impact on another. I do think that in turbulent times, this is a very timely book because we've seen rapid change. We've had to pivot and adapt and refocus, and some of us have become overwhelmed, especially women as caretakers during the pandemic when the children were home from school and they were supposed to be doing virtual schooling. It ended up being more like homeschooling, which a lot of people were not prepared for, had not signed up for. So I do think that in an increasing time where our responsibilities are increasing, not decreasing, because in addition to being primary caregivers for children, we're also expected, often women are, to be primary caregivers for our aging parents. So we're and working.
Somehow, some way, this book has got to get into the hands of school teachers. And the reason why is because my wife was one, and because of the lockdown and doing everything online, her school changed. It's amazing that most of the people that were there are gone now because they became burned out by something that was just so heavy on their hearts.
Yeah, and what happens too you have to understand with things that you're passionate about and things that you care about and things that you really want to do, things that you want to put your energy and time into, you can still be doing it too much and to your own detriment if you haven't incorporated that space for restoration and healing and rest.
Learning how the mind, body, and soul work together is a journey, and so many people want to be fixed right now. I'm a daily writer for 29 years. I'm nowhere near being fixed. But the thing is that we have to understand that it is a journey.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why each section I have is an affirmation to affirm people as they are on that journey, and also a holistic prescription that includes a call to action of what people can do right now and ways to use what is around you. So Mother Nature, gemstones, and feng shui are things that are usually pretty accessible to most people. And so like you said, sometimes it's an urgent need of right now. Other times it's a way of just incorporating a healthy habit, and to use what's around you to do that really makes it more simple. And it also shows you that this is the natural rhythm of life. This is the natural rhythm of all nature and animals. We don't always expect to be on 100% 24/7 and shine brightly without any type of rest or restoration, period. That's where the burnout comes from.
I love the way you break it down with each affirmation in the way that it's a call to action, Mother Nature, gemstone, and of course feng shui, because what your eyes see is what feeds your soul. And I totally believe everything that you're putting into these pages when it comes to feng shui.
Oh, I appreciate that. You absolutely hit the nail on the head. It's absolutely true. What we surround ourselves and what we can do with our environment, it can elevate and uplift us, or it can bring us down. So it's so important to recognize how to do it to promote your health, to promote emotional well-being, and also balance.
One of the things growing up, I never ever heard my mother complain about being stressed out or tired. Was it that generation? It was like, we're going to move through this mountain no matter what's going on or how big the storm is. But we just seem to be more conversational about it today than what I had with my mother.
I think that women today, and especially young people, are much more aware and have a different sense of self-worth. There's a different sense and self-prioritization. Like young people do say, okay, they often don't want to work in a certain environment or in a certain way because they have more of increased self-awareness of what that means and what that does to them, and the priorities are different. So I would say that each generation is different and unique and special and great in each way. I think this is the generation, and I'm speaking to all generations, I'm speaking to multiple generations, that it has always been true that you will always need to take time to chill out. And that's for everybody, and that's all generations. And some, I think, do it better than others, and some might even phrase it differently. But there always needs to be a period of recuperation and restoration in our lives. Using nature, for example, that's the epitome often of female power. And tying ourselves to nature, I think we're becoming more of nature due to climate change events and activities, of how important it is and how certain things could disappear. Yeah. Things that we need in our lives.
I'm so with you on nature because in the studio where I sit, I overlook a forest in South Charlotte, North Carolina. These are trees that I planted, 1,700 of them in 1997. And then I go for what I call a transition walk.
That's awesome.
And on that transition walk, I've taken your words, your chapters. What I do is I read them first, and then I go through a transition walk. I want it to go into my body. So I've got to figure out ways to get that into the listener's heart. And the importance of this book is that, yes, you're going to focus on self-care, but you can't stop when there's change. Accept the change and be in love with the moment.
Absolutely. I love that. That's driving the car, right?
Yes.
That's a section I have about accepting, adapting to change, and relaxing about it, saying change is natural, change is a constant, change is always going to happen. If you're constantly resisting and struggling it, that's that fight or flight, and your body is in a constant state of stress and ready to act, and we don't always need that. Just like those emails and just like those voicemail messages, do we need to respond immediately? Those text messages, do we need to reply? It seems so urgent. It seems like an emergency. But we have to reframe how we respond to other people, how we are setting up expectations for ourselves. Other people will get used to how you respond to things. Mm-hmm. Once you respond to things in a way that's true and authentic to you. And just going outside, amongst the trees, that's, these are tried and true ancient practices for holistic health that many cultures, many centuries in use. So it's like we're going full circle. They call that forest bathing, in Japan, going into the woods, going into a space and just breathing in that air, mm-hmm. feeling the vibe, because it's all about energy too. How to restore and change and keep your energy, but also how to really bond and connect with the energy that's around us in a positive way, in a way that enhances our holistic health, mental, physical, spiritual awareness.
Yep. How... the thing is I don't say I'm going to go clean out my heart. I want to clear my heart. Clean out means that's work. So therefore, I try to use words and metaphors to help people understand that clearing out your heart. But the thing is that people are hoarding onto their emotions. How do you suggest that they quit hoarding their past?
I love this question because I think we underestimate the impact that our feelings, right, and our heart chakra, and how sacred that is, and how these things are impacting that capacity, even to empathize and to give and receive from a place that's healthy. So absolutely, protecting your heart is part of it. Really fully feeling your feelings. But it's a transition mm-hmm. where you're feeling your feelings, but you move through your feelings. There needs to be movement. You can't get stuck there. So protecting your heart is helpful. Also, protecting your vibration in general. Let's say you're radiating joy and love, and you're just feeling really good, and you just played with your little fur baby, and you're just kissed your significant other and you're literally going out and smelling the flowers. You want to protect that vibe, right? You want to protect that vibration. And some ways of doing that is creating that protective aura around yourself. That's why I have in one of the sections, it's protecting your heart, how to create that aura to retain it. Because like self-esteem and self-love, you're always working to maintain it. But even if you've mastered the art of chilling out, you still need to work on maintaining it. You still are going to want to keep it, right? So to do that, and then feeling your feelings. It's important that we feel our feelings. That's why they're there. And our feelings are telling us one thing. Our minds are telling us things too. And to be able to be self-aware, to regulate our emotions. And what are the spaces in which we're feeling not good? You know, just keeping it and making it at a very basic level. And the spaces and the places and the people where we feel good. Let's increase the good, decrease the bad. Maybe think, why do I feel bad, quote unquote, in that space? No feelings are good or bad. It's how you're interpreting, how you're feeling those feelings. Something about that space is making you feel a certain way. So feeling them, but realizing that this too shall pass. Feelings are fleeting. But as we know, some feelings are so intense, they can cause actions that are irreversible.
Yep.
And we want your feelings to be encouraging you to do something great for yourself, not encouraging you to do anything self-destructive or do any harm to anyone else. So feeling your feelings is part of saying it's natural for me to feel the way that I feel. It's okay for me to feel the way that I feel. And then there's a point in time of after feeling your feelings and expressing yourself that you need to let it go, because you're setting it up now for more feelings, positive feelings. You're setting yourself up now for more blessing, more prosperity, more abundance in your life when you can move through and let these other things go.
Oh, I love your heart. You've got to come back to this show anytime in the future, Angela. The door is always going to be open for you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Appreciate your show and what you're doing. And thank you so much for reading the book.
Well, you be brilliant today, okay?
All right, you too.